Hello, Damkiana here. Welcome to part two of our higher intelligence transmission. So, here in this moment, I am tapping in to my higher alignment. So, that means I am tapping into the technology of my body, activating and aligning my chakras to be able to open to receive the information that wants to come through. So I'm streaming here on Instagram. Hello, everybody that's joined. And I'm also recording, and this will go on my YouTube channel. So every week, we're doing these higher intelligence transmissions so that we can come together and create this space that is also activating you into your higher intelligence. And when I say higher intelligence, I don't mean higher intellect. I mean we're coming together to tap into a consciousness, an intelligence, information that goes beyond just our five senses, that goes beyond just our intellect, our thoughts, our logic. And so, before turning the camera on, what I do is practices that I use every day to tap into this higher intelligence. So, we're activating the chakras. The chakras are an ancient system from the Indian heritage, Indian ancestry. And if you look at different ancient cultures really view the human body as an energetic conduit. So when we learn to treat our body as the technology that it is, then we get to tune our radio signal, so to speak. We get to tune to other waveforms of information, not just with our eyes. We don't need proof of something visually to know it, to feel it, to sense it, to understand it. We don't need to touch something for it to be real. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying higher intelligence, and you have a higher intelligence. And I love connecting with souls like you who you've felt your intuition. You've sensed things that you can't describe. But when we go to school, when we go to college, when we work at our jobs, we are not necessarily encouraged to cultivate those other senses because sometimes they can distract us from getting the job done, from completing the grade, completing the test. But here in this space, here in my world, your other senses, your deeper knowing is so welcomed. And I really believe that when we tap into this higher intelligence, to these other abilities to sense and learn and understand and connect, this world becomes a better place. And that is what I believe that I am here for. I am here on this earth to cultivate greater harmony on this planet. And you also have a purpose. You also have a reason for being here. So, in these higher intelligence transmissions, I don't pre-plan. I don't have notes. We're just in flow state together. And something that feels really alive to talk about is our ancestry, the intelligence of our ancestors, ancient ancestral wisdom. And when we look around right now, I live in America, and in America, most of us are disconnected from our ancestral heritage, from our ancestral traditions. And even if we have some traditions from our ancestry, they have been touched, they have been tinged, they have been molded and shaped by religion, by Christianity, by Roman Catholic English domination, by the Western mindset. And so I've looked around at this world and I've thought, what am I supposed to do with all of this? How am I supposed to make a positive impact if there's constantly chaos, constantly war, constantly pain? And that question led me on a deep reconnection with my ancestral roots. And this is a big part of what I curate in my spaces with my clients. really touching base with our ancestral heritage. How does this help us? What does that even look like? I'll tell you a little bit of a story, and then I'll let some other pieces flow together so that you can take that into your daily life and see what explorations you want to lean into surrounding your ancestral heritage. What I recognized is just as a tree is expansive and stretching out into the sky, it also has deep roots. And we all have deep ancestral roots, but we've been disconnected from them. And we know that when a tree or a plant is disconnected from its roots, it cannot gain the necessary nutrients to not only survive, but thrive. And as Americans who have been disconnected from our ancestral heritage, you look back at the journey of your ancestors, how your people got here. And whether you're Irish or English or Scottish or Italian or African or Spanish, wherever you come from, there's a unique story of how you came here. And the more we go back further, there's often some type of war or domination that led to people leaving their ancestral lands. Even those of Irish heritage, if you go back far enough, you'll see religion and dominator culture coming in to ancient ancestral lands and severing our ancestors from their ancient practices. This is such a painful mark on our ancestral lineage. And no matter which direction you go back, no matter what heritage your family holds, we will always find pain, war, suffering, disconnection. So I chose to keep going back. If I keep following my European ancestors back and back and back, I was led to the Indo-European migration. I was led back to Mesopotamia, the heart of culture. Now, there will be other transmissions about that pantheon, about that time period, about the evolution of humanity. But what we're focusing on right now is the reality that no matter what culture you study, if you keep going back, you will see some common threads in how our ancient ancestors connected with source, with divinity, with spirituality, and with each other. And you will find that those things were not separate. Connecting with each other, connecting with source, were one and the same. Because our ancient ancestors, whether you study ancient China, Native Americans, Italian, Mesopotamian, you just keep going back to the root and you will find that our ancestors honored the elements. They honored fire, earth, water, air, and spirit. They believed that divinity was present in all things. They believed and knew and felt and lived and breathed and sang of that connection. They connected through source, to source, through connecting with the elements, through deep presence with their surroundings, by offering prayers as they gathered plants from the land, by offering prayers as they took an animal's life to eat it. Another fascinating thing that I have found in researching ancient ancestral wisdom is that, again, as far back as you go in every direction, there's always writings and paintings and teachings about how beings came from the stars to teach humanity, to offer humanity greater intelligences, technologies. And so I invite you to begin to get curious. When you look around at the world today and you see the chaos and you feel the disconnection, when you look around and you're like, I'm an American, or my family is Italian, my family is Mexican, but we don't have, there's the Catholic Church, or you don't feel connected to your heritage, that's a problem. Because being connected to our roots is what allows us to grow in strength, in clarity, in harmony. It allows us to expand into the next higher realm. And so I invite you to start getting curious and asking, what were my ancestors doing to connect with divinity before Christianity came around? Before a patriarchal, war-dominated culture persisted and overtook so many sacred lands, so many sacred sites, so many sacred rituals. So much change has happened and will continue to happen. When we look back to the past to learn from it, it's not about trying to go back and recreate that. The world will never, ever be as it was. Creation continues to become more and more complex. Possibilities are expanding in all directions. And so you are at one center point of creation. You are at one focal point of existence. And you are just a leaf on a branch, on a tree. And there are some deep roots that are actually holding you solid. But if you don't know how to connect with those roots, you'll sever yourself from receiving the nourishment that they provide. So this is why I developed the course that I have called Cosmic Roots. It's an initiation to help you reconnect with your ancient ancestral wisdom, with your higher spiritual intelligence, and with the intelligence of your body. Because we are a part of an ecosystem. And for my personal journey, when I began to ask this question, where did I come from? Why am I here? What were my ancestors doing to connect with harmony, to cultivate community, to create with intention? What were they doing? And I began to see these themes of honoring the elements, deep reverence and presence, of seeing all things as divine. If you just choose to put on those glasses each day, and that is the lens and the filter that you see life through, your life will begin to change. It's true. Your guides will begin to appear to you in human form, in spirit form, in elemental form. Your teachers will appear. And you might have even found this video and this Instagram page because you're already asking those questions. Because the universe is always listening to you. Every thought that you have is a pulse of light. It's a pulse of information. And we are so cute as humans. We really think that our thoughts are just going on inside of our head and like no one can hear them. They are being broadcasted to the universe, my friend. They are. And the universe is so intelligent and intimately connected with you, with every thought that you have. every feeling that you have. And this can be a little bit scary when we really take into consideration that when you understand the physics, the quantum physics of how this world is operating, and you step back and you say, wow, I truly am a divine creator. I truly am co-creating in real time. The things that are around me in my life are around me because of what I think, what I feel, what I believe, what I choose. That is scary personal responsibility. So it can be easier to say, meh, I'm just figuring out life, or meh, my mind is so clever, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to set my goals and do my things. But that's just one part of you. Your mind is one part of you. This space is for those who are ready to step in to full personal responsibility. Because as scary as that is, as a leader, as a visionary, you're brave enough to say yes to that. Because you've also experienced how absolutely draining it is to ignore your power, to suppress your power, to hand over your power to others, to complain about not feeling empowered. Well, when we look around at the state of the world, it can be really easy to say, it's too much, I can't do anything, I'm just gonna escape. But you have a whole lineage of ancestors behind you. You have a whole host of cosmic guides, of ancient wise spirits who are available to support you as you create in every moment. So when you step into that level of personal responsibility, you're not just alone in that. You actually step onto this playing field in which you will look around and see all of the others who have chosen to step into their personal responsibility, who have chosen to reconnect to their ancient ancestors, to expand and connect to their cosmic higher intelligence. And you will not be alone. You're never alone. But when you step into that responsibility and you say, I'm going to choose to create with intention, I'm going to choose to tap in to something deeper and something more expansive than just trying to do it all myself, you will be met by the support of the entire universe. Because based on the principle of coherence, the universe and the way that our energetic systems are designed, the universe is always looking for the most harmonious and easeful way to create. And so when you tap in to that coherence, that can only happen when you're aligned. That can only happen when you allow the technology of your body to come online. And this is why doing some simple morning practices, some simple daily routines that help you tap in to your alignment, awaken the technology of your body. That is your tuning fork. That is your antenna, your receiver, to be able to commune with the wisdom of your ancestors. Because the intelligence of your ancestors lives in your DNA. And by aligning and activating your chakras, by learning about how energy flows through your body, by learning really simple yet profound breathing techniques and tools to activate this divine intelligence that is here in your body, you tap in to your divine creator energy. So this feels like it's all that wants to come through right now. And I want to thank you for being on this journey with me. And I invite you to continue to take these thoughts with you in your days, asking yourself, what were my ancestors doing to connect to divinity, to harmony, to their power? And start to research the different lineages of your ancestors. Get curious, see what you find. And if you'd like support on that journey, I have some really exciting journeys that I'm offering in January, February, and March of 2026. And if you're watching this in the future, check out my website, because all of those offerings will live there so that you can tap in even after I've done the live classes and journeys. So all I will say is follow me on Instagram so that you can connect with me directly. I love connecting with my community of other visionary leaders who are ready to step into this greater personal responsibility to step into your divine creator frequency. And doing that together has the greatest impact, which is so exciting. So, domkiana.com, find out about my offerings there. Instagram, the Domkiana. Come find me there. All the links are down below. And I welcome you to subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be doing these higher intelligence transmissions every week. And I'll also be releasing my music here. So for me, this life is about opening my channel of creation, offering myself as a vessel for higher frequencies to come through. So when I create music, when I do these higher intelligence transmissions, it's just such a joy to create and to commune with something beyond just my mind and my to-do lists and my goals and my visions. I love all of that. But all of that means nothing if we are not connecting to the greater intelligence that informs us of what is needed. Because if I'm just in my mind and I'm thinking, oh, this is what I want to do, and I think this is a good idea, great. Wonderful. But what if I sit for a few minutes each day and I open myself to ask what is needed in this moment, in this time? What if you lived your life like that? That is what I do. Every moment is a return to this inner alignment. And then you get to tap into regenerative energy. Then you get to create a life that feels so aligned, so full of joy, so full of clarity. No matter what storms I'm passing through, I always have the ability to return to my alignment, deepen into the wisdom of my ancestors, and expand into the incredible possibilities of the cosmos. And I thank you so much for joining me for this higher intelligence transmission. My name is Domkiana. I adore you. I thank you for your presence on this planet. Let's co-create. Go find me on Instagram. Go check out my website. Mwah, 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 mwah.